Hello, guys. Welcome to WCTW Coach Taylor's Wellness Radio. I am so glad that I am here with you guys as always. And we have started the series on talking about the mindset and being mindful of your thoughts. And so we want to continue that. So go ahead and hit that like button, the follow button, so that you can be here with me when I am present here on the broadcast. So let's continue what we were talking about on mindset. We're going to bring it in a different angle today. We're going to talk about testing your thoughts. You think about how many times we have thoughts a day, and you're probably saying, you want me to test every thought. I don't think that's going to happen. Well, what I mean, guys, is getting control of those thoughts. And we do have a lot of thoughts. I mean, science say that we have from 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. So we do a lot of thinking throughout the day. And that averages, I think somewhere, I try and do the math, 2,000 to 3,000, something like that, thoughts per hour. And so that's pretty, unbelievable, right? But it would be great if we could control all those thoughts, if we can control them all and make our thoughts just be good all the time. Well, we know that's not realistic. It would be great if we could. That would be awesome. But many of our thoughts are negative, and a lot of times they're negative to the point of toxic thoughts. So the good news is that we do have, a guide to help us test our thoughts. And I'm going to go to the scriptures where Philippians 4 says, that we can do that. We can choose to think on things that are true and noble and right, those things that are pure and lovely, those things that are admirable. It says, think on those things, excellent things, things that are worthy of praise. So that being said, we can choose to do that. That's how we control those thoughts. And we take charge to do that. You'll find that your day goes better. You're more in control of yourself. You're more in control of your stress level. And so let's talk about it for a second. So I had someone that posed a question the first time I went through the series a few months ago, and they said, okay, tell me about those things that you're saying that we're, those things that are true, the things that are noble and right and etc. Let's talk about that. Tell me what things I should be thinking about specifically, And I said, well, every individual is different. So what's true to you may not be true to me. So let's make it an overall thing. And so those things that are true are those things, one of the most important things to consider about our thoughts is this. Are they true? Too often our thoughts are just not true. Most of the time what we're thinking is not what's so anyway, especially in a situation where it brings on stress or fear. We need to focus on what is really authentic, what's real, and what really lines up. You know what I mean? And I'm the one to believe it like this. If it doesn't line up scripturally, then it's probably not true anyways. So that's the way I see things. Now, when it talks about noble, I am a Christian, so as a child of God, I think that, our thoughts should be royal and regal. Not arrogant, not at all, but we should think highly of ourselves, think positive about ourselves. And if we think highly and positive about ourselves, we will not hold back on things that we feel that we want to do, desire to do, or feel like we're called to do. We won't be afraid to step out and do those things. When it comes to thinking on those things that are right, so many times we want to be right and we can be thinking wrong. So to be one who's not wrong, I won't say we're not going to ever be wrong, and we're never going to, allow our thoughts to bother us. But often, we don't allow that desire for being right to permeate in our thoughts. Thinking right thoughts means, allowing your thoughts to be accurate, appropriate thoughts, you know? And so it's just lining ourselves up, I believe, with that particular encouragement in the scriptures will help you, to get your mindset right and in the right place for you to step out and do those things that you feel that you need to do, should do, or called to do. When it comes to pure thoughts, to be pure in heart and in thought, it's not as difficult as most of us think it may be. It seems difficult sometimes, but it's simply choosing to think on ethical and things that are right and upright, honest things that are good. And when it comes to lovely, I'm just going to go through each one of them real quick here. This word is not really used much, and it's a beautiful word. I love lovely, but it should be. I think lovely thoughts means to see things beautifully, to see the beauty in things, see the stunningness of this life that we have, and allow our minds to think on those things, meditate on those things. Sometimes when I meditate, I just meditate on goodness. Life is so good. What are the good things that's going on in my life? What are the good things that have gone on? Good memories are great. Thinking on those things that are admirable and excellent and worthy of praise. We want to think on those things. So until next time, I want you to think on those things and know and believe that you can have that mindset that will allow you to do those things that you choose to do, want to do, or feel you're called to do. So I challenge you to write down those things that we just talked about, those things that are worthy of praise, those things that are excellent, those things that, that are admirable and lovely and pure and that are right, those things that are noble and true, those things that brings good reports to your mind and that you want to think on and cause you to be encouraged. Because again, as I said in the broadcast before, you can do whatever it is in life that you want to do. Even the scriptures and science both talk about mindset and our thoughts and how the thoughts become actions and how it can make or break our lives, the goodness in our lives. It can make life good, those thoughts, or make life not so good. So you want to think on all these things that we just talked about, put them together, meditate on them, and watch and see how they change your life. Until next time, guys, you guys have a wonderful day. It's always good to be here with you. Shalom.